All right, part two. Sorry to make such a long video of directions, but with this final project, I just feel like there's going to be a lot of questions. And so hopefully, this is at least a starting point in me answering those. So, your task, you are going to pick a food product. Again, that could be something you bake at home, like banana bread, the quarantine bread, or it could be lasagna or some sort of dish. My example today is going to be quesadilla. Um, you know, something that you like to eat that has a few ingredients. If it's something real simple, your job is actually going to be harder because you won't have as much to go off of. From there, you are going to identify a minimum of six hazards, and all three need to be represented at least once. So if you only find one biological and you do five of the others, that's fine, or vice versa. So let's go into the specifics, which are outlined here and on Canvas. You can create a document if you just want to create like a formal written report that organizes all of this information. Totally cool. Or if you want to go the PowerPoint presentation route, awesome. And then just create a slide for each of these components. Great. Whatever one you like better. First, start by identifying and telling me what products you're going to do. Bonus points if you include real pictures of you doing it, that'd be awesome. Second is then to list all the ingredients. So, tortilla, cheese, avocado, whatever it might be. And then steps, like a recipe of how do you produce that. Once you have that outlined, that gives you a better perspective of identifying what are the possible hazards. So, for example, with my quesadilla, I have a tortilla, I have cheese, I have guacamole. And so, one thing would be cheese. In order to make sure that there's not microbial growth, we store our cheese at a colder temperature. And so then I would make sure that I identify the possible biological hazard. And then from there, maybe a chemical hazard is that, I use Lysol in my kitchen to clean off my counters. And so then I would want to make sure that I prevent any contamination with my food by making sure I store my Lysol separate from where I keep my food and my cheese and all the ingredients. Another thing like physical would be that I make sure that I tie my hair back before I cook, as I don't want to have physical contamination of my hair, or that I keep my dogs out of my kitchen during when I'm cooking in order to prevent fur from getting in my quesadilla. From there, that's what I was kind of going into is that step 5 is then you figure out what are the control measures in order to prevent that hazard. And so then you explain, in your food production line, which is in your house, or if you go the YouTube route and you're watching a food production line, what are they doing to prevent and control that? Is again, that's the whole point of having a HACCP, which is required by law, is that we're preventing, we aren't fixing. Okay? And so we're trying to prevent it from happening in the first place versus having to go back and correct it. Obviously, when things come up and are caught, then we go back and we create a corrective plan to put that into action. And so there's a lot of facets to it. And that's why I think it's such an exciting job that is out there. Last but not least, of course, I always want to know where you got your information. So if you do research on like proper temperatures or looking up hazards for your specific ingredients to find, what are the possible, specific biological, threats, hazards that could be there, or finding some physical, especially with like food production lines, like we always, it's heavy machinery. We have a lot of equipment being used if you watch all those videos from the discussion. And so there's a lot of areas that we need to watch in order to make sure that our food is coming out yummy and safe. So with that, let me go ahead and click back over here to the Canvas assignment. Man, sorry, this is really 2 long videos. Go ahead and make sure you submit this by clicking the submit button up here and uploading your final product. Review everything, make sure you have it all included, and you have until next Friday to get this done, May 29th at the latest. And then seniors, I'll be reaching out to give you a direct on your deadline since you're all done next week. So with that, I will see you guys next time. Keep it up.